This episode of Dana Being Dana is brought to you in part by Marabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Marabella, serving Chicagoland communities for more than 70 years.
Hello and welcome to Dana Being Dana. I'm Dana Michelle and I'm thrilled you're with us. My show is about all different aspects of the human connection, things that bring us together and living life intentionally. There's nothing better than love. After all, they say it's what makes the world go round. Our culture is obsessed with love. From movies to love songs, there is such a focus on finding great love. Yet for many, successfully doing this remains elusive, time and time again. Joining me today are three couples who are winning at this love game. Elliot and Dawn have been married for 32 years. Lynn and Ingrid have been married for 4 years. And Ryan and Jordan will be married in September of 2022. So Elliot, where did the two of you meet?
Dawn and I met at work. The first time was the interview for the job that brought me to Illinois, so in Mary Aurora, Illinois.
Ingrid?
We actually met through mutual friends. So my best friend is his best friend's wife.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Ryan?
We met at work 2014, so again, been a few years now, but it was at Orange Theory Fitness in Naperville. She was actually in taking class, and I was there kind of learning how to coach, learning to start the position, and I was like, oh, who's that? And it was kind of one of those fun love at first sight sort of situations.
She was hired.
So, hired.
That's it.
Tell me about your most memorable date.
For us, I'm going to have to say it was the very first date.
Aww.
We had known each other, but never dated while we worked together. And one night, Elliot asked me to dinner. We went to dinner, and that was it.
I think with me, it's so many, but my wife was traveling a lot when I met her, and she would do these interviews and things like that in different cities, and we would make it a date out of it. We'd go out and she'd work, and when she was done working, we'd go out, have dinner, and make a night of it.
Nice.
So pre-COVID, Ryan and I decided to try to make a new tradition every holiday season. And so when we first started dating, we decided that we wanted to do like a downtown weekend right around the holidays. It was, it's magical, Chicago at Christmas. And so we booked a hotel, we went to the Symphony, ended up much later on at Cindy's rooftop with that beautiful view over the lake. And we tried to do that for a couple of years. Unfortunately, COVID got in the way of things, but I think we're going to try to make it happen again. So
I think this pandemic makes a lot of people not so great when it comes to love and relationships. Can you tell us what makes your relationship or marriage work?
Well, we actually got married 1 year prior to the pandemic. And so we quickly figured out during the time of being at home all the time, together, newly married, blended family, that it was going to take a lot of patience, communication, but we just like each other.
That's
And
amazing.
so it wasn't tough for us getting through the pandemic and not having to be, able to be around other people, because we just kind of like hanging out together. It was an extension of why we fell in love in the beginning. So it wasn't too tough for us.
Good.
Well,
For me.
That's what I was going to say. We genuinely like each other, and that's what makes the marriage work. Because there are some tough times that you go through, and if you don't like each other on a basic level, it's going to be tough to get through some things.
What's your favorite thing that you learned about your partner in the pandemic? Sheltering in place, being together all the time. What's something that you've learned about your spouse or significant other?
One thing I got to see, because again, Dawn wasn't going out and doing business development, so she gets stuff done. She is focused and driven, and I look like I'm wandering around compared to her. It's a little embarrassing.
How did you know that he or she was the one?
Very similar to some of the previous questions, I stayed home. Jordan worked. So at the time, we didn't have a dog. It was the one thing that I knew at the end of the day coming home that I could look forward to every day. And of course, sometimes, an argument or having a bad day, but it didn't really matter because I knew kind of at the end of the day, after everything that had been going on, the uncertainty, just the overall anxiety, at the end of the day, she was going to come home and that was really going to brighten my day. So I knew actually because of COVID.
Wow.
We met kind of close to my birthday. And so she really didn't know me that well. She knew I had 4 old daughters, and she contacted all my daughters and said, hey, I know you don't know me that well, but I'm having something for your dad at this place, and everybody came. It was wonderful. That was it for me.
Beautiful.
So for me, I was dating around, and I kept finding myself going back to Dawn more and more. And then finally, one time I said, can I actually just come over and read? Because, right, that's a very solitary pastime, but I still wanted to be with her.
Oh.
And that was kind of it.
You all are so sweet. Go
I
ahead.
think I knew when blending families is tough. He mentioned he had 4 daughters, or has 4 daughters. I have a son. But I knew he was absolutely the one when I could call him and he would calm me down, with my ex and my son's father. And he would say, it's going to be okay. You just calm down. He was like my calmness because I'm like, I'm going crazy.
Yes.
And he just calmed me in that particular situation. And even now, he's the communicator. I think my ex-husband likes him more than he likes me. and I'm totally fine with that. I love their relationship.
Yeah.
And so that's been comforting for me. And that just reaffirms that I married the right person.
Oh, that's so nice. What's your love language? Ryan, can we start with you?
Absolutely. Physical touch.
Jordan?
Mine's definitely acts of service.
Lynn?
Acts of service, 100.
Ingrid?
Mine's evolved from gifts to acts of service.
Elliot?
I'm verbal.
Words, yeah. Dawn?
Acts of service.
Nice. I think it's so important to know, who you are and how you love, and then knowing, obviously, the love language of your mate. Lynn and Ingrid, you two have found love again. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about that. I think it's so important for the second time around. What makes that so much sweeter?
Oh man, I can go on about this. I think the choice, making the right choice. I knew, like I said, I knew instantly. Well, when I met her, she was the one. There's an 11-year gap. She's way mature, than her age.
She's not older.
Oh no.
I love that word, mature.
She's mature. She's super smart, and I've always knew I was going to marry somebody smarter than me, which probably wasn't kind of easy.
That's smart of you.
That's right.
So she's super smart and kind, and giving. So the second time around has been very easy with me, with her.
I'm just smarter in my choices, in my expectations. Like, I went into this marriage with really more expectations of myself than of my mate. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I learned. I think I had more expectations on the other person to kind of transform and change to the way I needed them to be versus accepting them for who they were and trying to complement that. So me just being able to be myself and just be present it's been great the second time around.
Now, Ryan and Jordan, you two got engaged during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting it at all. Funny joke about that is that I would see our other friends get engaged or married or whatever, and he would be like, "Oh, that sucks." and so I had no idea what was coming. But to be honest, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, it was a really dark time, I think, for the whole world.
Yes.
I'm trying to put myself back in those early months, and there was a lot of uncertainty. And I think for us, we've had to be creative and find new ways to date, right? Because there was a time period where we couldn't go out, so we had to kind of get creative and find new things that we could enjoy together. And so my point is that we didn't really let the pandemic stop us. And so for us, I know for our family, us getting engaged was something really positive to hang on to in a really uncertain time and stressful time.
Right.
I didn't think twice about it. Of course, you have to make certain considerations, or you can't go to a certain place, or this capacity is limited. And when I started organizing, like my thoughts, it was an afterthought of trying to figure out like, oh, I'm going to do this, or what happens here. You have to be able to push forward, right? And it's something where if you can persevere and you can focus on what's in front of you, despite what was going on, I knew it was going to be successful.
Awesome. We are looking forward to the future, and we're going to take a quick break and have more discussion about love. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
In serving Illinois for 7 decades, Mirabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Mirabella has earned its reputation as an experienced and skilled law firm that puts its clients first. We provide trusted counsel and tireless dedication to achieve favorable outcomes and reduce the stress and costs that often come with complicated legal matters. Our adept attorneys represent clients in divorce, family law, sexual harassment, employment discrimination, school law, civil litigation, and criminal defense. While we handle high-profile cases, every client who walks through our door can expect the same diligent care and attention to detail. MKFM Law has served counties including DuPage, Kane, Will, and Kendall since 1949. That longevity is only possible with the elite level of commitment we show our clients every day. Call or visit us online for a free consultation.
Stay in the know at home or on the go with NCTV 17 News Update. This quick recap of everything happening in and around town will be delivered straight to your email inbox for free. Sign up today.
Welcome back to Dana Being Dana, where we are talking all about love. Elliot and Dawn, you two work together. How do you work well together?
Well, we work well together because we both have different strengths. Elliot handles the operations, I handle sales and marketing. And for the most part, we stay in our lanes, right? We've become, we know that we can trust each other in whatever area the other is working in. Sometimes there's some swerving that goes, but then you kind of take a step back. Oh, right, okay, you've got this. That's your area. I'm going to let you handle it.
That's great. I think conflict resolution is so important. How do you navigate conflict effectively?
I think the biggest thing is communication. Of course, that might sound a little cliche, right? Like everybody, communication, but it is. And I think the biggest thing too is respect for your partner, right? And so, you know, knowing when to walk away, knowing not to hit below the belt, right? And say things that you can't unsay. At the end of the day, this is the person that you're supposed to do life with, you know? So that relationship, I think it has to be sacred, you know?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes you want to have that heated discussion or that battle, or you want to, I was right. And sometimes when things are super emotionally charged, or it is something that is, it's not going to be successful if you try to just hash it out right then and there. So.
Mutual respect is huge. When you said that, that's it, because everyone resolves conflict differently, and we hear things differently. And so just respecting, like, I handle it like I need a minute, maybe an hour, maybe a half a day. And he's over it in like 15 seconds. And I'm like, how are you over it?
Then that makes you mad.
And then I'm mad all over again. But he respects that I need time, and I have to respect that he doesn't need time. And it's just been finding that balance, but it's been working.
How are you and your mate alike, and how are you different?
We both give. We love doing things for our family and for our friends and for each other, to a point that we're like, okay, stop. Like, we've given enough. But I think where we're different is he likes to keep giving, and I'm like, stop. And so it's so funny because the thing that we love the most about each other are sometimes the things that can cause conflict. And so again, it's striking that balance and where can we still maintain that respect for the difference, but the love for the commonality.
Yeah, I agree. I think she knows me so well. Most people will say I'm kind. That's one of my biggest, almost maybe some people say, dude, you're too kind.
Yeah.
And she knows when to tell, to be aware of when it's the kind will run out, and then I'll go from 0 to 100. But
Kind and generous. Turn up the music.
Yeah. So but the kindness it's huge, and she's aware, and she knows me well.
We were really good friends before we started dating. We both are into fitness, eating, cooking healthy, also eating and cooking unhealthy. So those are some of the basic things. I would say where we're different is that I'm a big introvert, and so I need my downtime. Like, I need my time and my space to recharge, and he is the exact opposite. He's the biggest extrovert. So he would just want to go and be out and with people and like do things all the time. And like, I was actually kind of happy during the pandemic because I was like, I get to stay home and like, it's perfectly acceptable. It's cool, So that would be it.
Yeah, I think for us, we have a lot of similar interests.
Do you like to read?
We do like to read, sometimes together, sometimes apart. But at the same time, we know that we're individuals, and so we allow each other to go do other things that maybe I'm not interested in doing or he's not. And I think that's important too as a couple. Even though you're together, you're still two individual people, and you need to allow the other person to have a hobby or something that they're interested in and allow them to do that.
You two have been married again for 32 years. You two have been remarried now for 4 years with a blended family. The two of you are getting married soon. What advice do you have for couples who are similarly situated to you, but who are struggling? I think a lot of people have been stretched very thin in this pandemic and the times we're in. What advice would you give them to help them make it through?
I think you have to remember that at one point you liked this person. And sometimes in the day-to-day and the hectic things that are going on, that gets lost. And that leads to conversations like you said, where someone hits below the belt. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. And you got to roll it back.
Yeah.
I agree. Think about what you're going to say to your mate, to your wife, fiance. Think about what you're going to say. Something you might say might be hard to reel back. So be very, very careful on how you respond to her.
You're telling them to be kind, aren't you?
Be kind.
And I think I just have a different view on, sharing information about your marriage, but you want to create a safe space. Mm-hmm. You need an outlet. Like, I need an outlet, and not a venting outlet, but a couple people that have been where you are or are in the same place, and you can share with them. Like, it's nothing worse than going through something alone and you don't feel like you can talk to someone, and in a trusted place, right? You don't want, to air your dirty laundry, but at the same time, you need someone to talk to. So find a person that you can share some of your concerns with and kind of just talk through it so that you don't have to say some things that you will regret later.
I think a lot of people have had transitions during this pandemic as well, whether they've been divorced, or widowed, or separated from a relationship. What advice do you have for single people?
Be available. Be open. Be open and not put so much pressure on being single, but just enjoying life, completing yourself before you can go out and meet. Nothing worse than having two broken people meet.
That part.
The relationship is doomed from the start. But just work on you. I know that sounds cliche. So I'm just going to work on me. But that is the truth. Like, create the best version of yourself at that moment and then meet someone else that's also trying to do the same thing, and it'll work. But you got to be open.
Yeah, I think along those lines, be flexible, right? Because you're going to meet somebody, you're not going to be exactly alike or like to do the same thing. So be open to having them show you something that they're interested in.
Yeah, I like the be open part, and be honest, right? This is who I really am, not I'm putting my best foot forward because it's a date. Because otherwise, you're going to have to maintain that forever, and then that doesn't work.
That representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes away quickly.
Yes.
I just thought about one thing is these, like, throw away the list.
Yeah.
Right.
We all had this list in our 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Now I'm dating
Oh, the
myself.
check boxes.
All the check.
Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw away the list.
Yep.
Like, I never thought that I would be with this man, but this man is what I needed. It's not what I wanted. It's what I needed. And so I had to be open to that.
Nice.
I think I would just add too to, and it goes with openness, but vulnerability, recognizing that, especially if you've been hurt, which we all have, it's scary to put yourself out there again, but you can't make a meaningful connection with somebody without that. And the other thing I would add is just to have fun, focus on being in the moment. Dating is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be exciting, right? So I would definitely say that.
You guys are like the best wingmen and wingwomen ever.
Variety.
Yeah, exactly. Elliot and Dawn, what advice do you have for these couples so they can get to 32 years
Yes.
of marital
Well, I
bliss?
think they've already touched on it, and I think they'll do okay because, and it sounds simple, but be nice, right? I mean, we've been together a long time, but we still once in a while remember to say, oh, you look nice today, right? You can kind of fall out of that niceness because you've been together for so long, but it's so important.
Yeah, a thank you.
Well,
right?
thank you. Well, thank you.
You wouldn't hesitate to do that at work, but you go, oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Why
'cause
do it with
you
you?
just
Right.
expect it, right? Yeah.
We also had an attitude of when we got together and it was just us that we were building a life together. And we were both had all hands on the rope and we're pulling in the same direction.
That's good.
Ingrid and
That's
Lynn, what
good.
advice do you have for blended families?
Ooh, I'd say communication. We sat down with both parties beforehand and said, hey, this is, we got one goal, and the goal is our kids. So, it doesn't matter if, you don't like me, I don't like you, that part is out. I'm going to respect you I expect you to respect me, and we go from there. So the respect, I think is what made it work with the blended family. I'm with my stepson more than he is with his own dad, but he knows that I'm here. And I'm the bonus dad. I never take his real father away from him. He knows I'm the bonus dad. He loves me just like I love him, but he really, really knows the difference between me and his dad.
That's great. Ryan and Jordan, last question. What do you two want to ask these couples?
I think the whiteboard Sharpie word of the day is communication, which, it's been tremendous to actually now hear that. But, after 32 years, I hope it's not a cliche word, but, what really makes that work?
I think it's being nice to each other, trust. In the beginning, sometimes it's hard to trust that other person, especially if you've had bad relationships in the past. But you need to build on that, right? And make sure that you can communicate and build on that. And, the other thing, I think that we both make each other better people in different areas, right? And I think that's important for you to step back and say, does this person really make me a better person? Is it somebody that I want to be with, meaning me, right? And I think that's important.
Yeah, I think respect. I'll go to the cliche, right? She's not my mother. She's not there to clean up after me, and I'm not a project. I'm a grown man. I had an apartment and a car and furniture and clean underwear. I was complete. And it's like, don't take me in thinking you're going to fix me.
That's good.
So it sounds like you guys, you you know your roles, you know. I guess my question would be, you know, after a lot of time together, how do you keep it fun? How do you keep it exciting?
Oh, well, it starts if you're big fun.
Yeah.
And we go and we do stuff.
Yeah.
We never got mired in so much to lose sight of that. There's kids and there's work and there's family, and we're gonna go watch this movie together.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put the effort in, right? You might be exhausted, but, you know, let's just take a few minutes to, you know, read or watch a movie or just time together to remember why you got together to begin with, especially if you're having kids, right? They take a lot of time and energy, but at some point you're gonna be just the two of you again. You need to make sure you have that strong base to begin with.
And I think just to know your role, like I'm the planner, and I'm okay. I'm the risk taker. I'm the planner. He's fun. People don't think he's fun, but he's fun. And I used to kind of get frustrated with it. I'm always the one planning, but now I accept that because that's a part of what I do for the marriage. He's always on board. He never says no. Like he always says yes, but just somebody has to take ownership of the fun part of the relationship and not get frustrated and just do it because the other person will definitely enjoy it.
Yeah. So keep dating.
Keep dating.
Dating. You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say, Zach, I never stop dating.
Yeah.
That date night, that Tuesday, that whatever night that is, never stop it.
Yeah.
Never stop dating.
Never stop dating.
Have fun.
Yep.
If all relationships fail but one, how do you know when it's the real thing? If you are married or in a serious relationship, I hope that you have the love that fills you up and that you never stop dating. If you are still searching for the one, I hope that you are open to the process and the possibilities. Remember, courage is rewarded. Thank you to Mirabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Mirabella, serving Chicagoland communities for more than 70 years. Hopefully you've been entertained, if not encouraged or inspired. I do not promise to be an expert, nor do I have all the answers. I'm just Dana, being Dana. See you next time.
This episode of Dana Being Dana is brought to you in part by Mirabella, Kincaid, Frederick, and Mirabella, serving Chicagoland communities for more than 70 years.